Well, look, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us here today to go through the Burdekin Falls Dam project industry briefing. For those I haven't had the pleasure to meet, my name is Cameron Milliner. I'm the Executive General Manager of Customer and Stakeholder Relations for Sunwater, and it's my privilege to be your MC today. Before we commence, I would like to start by paying my respects to the traditional owners upon whose land we meet today, the Yagara and Turrbal people, and recognise their deep and abiding connection to both country and water, and pay my respects to their elders past and present, and extend that respect to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people who are here today. While we happen to be meeting in Brisbane, I'd also like to pay my respects to the traditional owners upon whose land both Burdekin Falls Dam and Lake Dalrymple sit. They are the Birra, the Jangga and the Gudjala people. I would like to pay my respects to their elders past and present. I would also like to thank them for their ongoing commitment and support both for Sunwater and our asset, but also for this project. We look forward to continuing that relationship and ensuring that we can continue to respectfully work on country, recognising the tradition, the exceptional honour that entails for us to work on their country. So just some housekeeping for today. Just a note for folks, we are recording this session and we'll make available that recording to participants and for those who weren't able to make it today. That will include the slides that we have presented here for you today, so you won't need to take lots of happy snaps of me or any of the other speakers while we're talking. Could I ask, if you haven't already, can you please turn your phone to silent for the duration of the event? Bathrooms, should you need them, are just outside these doors across the plaza, and you'll find the facilities there. In the event of an emergency today, can we please ask that you follow the instructions of the Brisbane Convention and Exhibition Centre staff that are with us. There will be the usual beeps and boops as that happens. Can I please also ask that you use the nearest exit and do not attempt to use a lift should you need to evacuate. So look, with that done, thank you very much for making your time available to us. This is an exciting project for Sunwater, and we think an exciting project for North Queensland. Burdekin Falls Dam is the largest dam in Queensland. To put that into some context, it holds 4 times Sydney Harbour. From this dam, we supply water to industrial, urban and agricultural customers. And this dam underpins the economic prosperity of North Queensland. So we are particularly excited to bring this project forward and to start to have this conversation with you who will be our partners. Our intention today is to provide you with early visibility of Sunwater's requirements through this project, to make sure you're aware of the potential for partnership with your organisations, and to give you good warning about when we will be coming to you to seek your input and involvement. You'll see over the course of today, you'll hear from Mal Shepherd, our Chief Development Officer here at Sunwater. He'll provide an overview of Sunwater and why we undertake a collaborative delivery model on projects of this nature. You'll then hear from Simon Thomas, our Burdekin Falls Dam Project Director, who will give you an overview of the project and the proposed delivery model. Stephen Garrick, our General Manager of Procurement, will then speak to you about the contract packages that we have upcoming on this project and the procurement process that we'll use. And then we'll hear from Rory O'Connor, who is a partner of O'Connor Marsden, our probity advisor, on the probity processes that we'll be taking. There'll be some opportunity for questions. There'll be a panel session at the end of the formal presentation. So if I can just ask you to hold any questions until we get to that point. And with that, I'd like to invite Mal Shepherd to take the stage.
Well, good morning everyone, and welcome to the briefing. We were probably together last a little over 12 months ago when we were talking through the Paradise Dam project. So it's good to see the turnout here today and the support being provided and the interest being shown in our next project, which is the Burdekin Falls Raising and Improvement project. I also want to add my acknowledgement to the First Nations people and their deep relationship, connection and responsibility for country via land, water and the skies as an integral element of First Nations identity and culture. I'd also like to thank the Bira and the Jenga people who have been working with Sunwater and providing cultural knowledge into the project, including the appreciation and significance of country and water for this particular project. As Cameron said, Sunwater is in the business of delivering water for prosperity. We're currently scaling up to deliver large-scale capital works dam program of works. We've completed the circa $100 million Paradise Essential Works project, and we're in the final stages of completion of the $570 million Rookwood Weir project. We're also in the final stages of finalising the Paradise Dam Improvement Project Alliance, and will soon be appointing a design and construction partners. These projects are shaping how Sunwater want to work with industry to design and deliver our future portfolio of complex projects. So, a little bit about Sunwater and who we are. So those that aren't overly familiar with Sunwater and our business, this slide provides a snapshot of who we are and what we do. Sunwater has a proud 80-year history of developing and managing a portfolio of bulk water infrastructure assets valued at around circa $13 billion, servicing the needs of industrial, mining, irrigation and urban customers throughout regional Queensland. Water plays an essential role in regional growth and prosperity, and we are fostering that through our 4 key regions across Queensland. And that supplies circa 40% of all water commercially used in Queensland. Our strong regional presence also helps us understand and better adapt to our customers' needs and a changing environment. We operate 24 water supply schemes across the state, 365 days of the year. These systems are used to collect, move, store and distribute water to our customers. Each of these schemes are unique in terms of its assets, the climate, the environment and the customer profile and how that relates to the water requirements. Our 19 dams and nearly 2,000 kilometres of pipeline store, capture and deliver water to over 5,000 customers with the purpose of delivering water for prosperity to those communities. Sunwater is embarking upon a new era with the delivery of the large-scale, bespoke and complex infrastructure, making us a water infrastructure leader. This is an exciting opportunity for industry to join Sunwater as a trusted partner to play a part in shaping the future of dam engineering and construction, not only here in Queensland, but nationally and internationally. Our vision is that the Burdekin Falls Improvement and Raising project, when completed, will enhance all of our reputations with the stakeholders and the communities in which we live and operate. So let's talk a little bit about our ownership and governance structure. So Sunwater is a Queensland government-owned corporation, or as we refer to it as a GOC, and therefore we operate on a commercial basis. Sunwater has 2 shareholding departments and their adjoining ministers, being the Queensland Treasury and the Treasurer and Minister for Investment, the Honourable Cameron Dick, as well as the Department of Regional Development, Manufacturing, Water, and our Minister, the Honourable Glenn Butcher. Our leadership team is was governed by an independent board of directors. Our Chief Executive Officer is Glenn Stockton, and Glenn unfortunately is unable to be in room here with us today and sends his apologies. Sunwater is a value-based organisation. So as I said, our organisation is led by Glenn Stockton. The majority of our operational workforce live and work alongside our customers and their businesses, so we have a strong understanding of local communities, livelihoods, and the environment in which we operate. We are supported by a very strong corporate team, and going from left to right, we have our EGM operations, which is Colin Bendel, which is Colin's there. We've got our EGM Engineering and Water Resources, Michael Kaler. We have our Chief People Officer, Kelly Breen. We also have our CFO, Erin Strand, sitting in the front row here, and Erin is acting CEO at the moment. And we also have Cameron, our Customer and Stakeholder and Relations EGM. We have 3 core values which underpin and guide everything that we do and how we do it, and our expectation is that everyone we partner with shares and operates within these 3 values. So we value people. Everyone matters to us, and we're committed to zero harm to all of our people. Work together. We're all at our best when we work together, and also considering how we work with our customers at front of mind. Take responsibility. We all have a part to play to deliver on our promises and challenge our thinking. All of this complements our vision of how we want to work with our stakeholders and industry to successfully deliver our projects. As mentioned earlier, Sunwater is developing and delivering a number of projects. Sunwater has 3 major infrastructure projects either in design or delivery. Our Rookwood Weir in central Queensland, which is now more than 95% complete. Located on the Lower Fitzroy, inland from Rockhampton, this weir will be the largest weir built since World War II in Australia. Sunwater, as the construction authority, operator and water marketeer, has delivered the project through an alliance. The project is set for completion in the coming months and first water available in early 2024. Our second project is the Paradise Dam Improvement Project near Bundaberg. And this project will return the original full supply capacity provided by the dam to the community as a part of a significant safety improvement project. This project, as I said, is currently in the final stages of procurement, and Sunwater is close to announcing and selecting our construction partner as a part of the alliance development phase. Sunwater is also developing a capability to undertake physical hydraulic modelling. We're developing a facility at Rockley in Brisbane, and when completed, this will provide world-class hydraulic laboratory facilities that align with business and industry standards. The BFD project will be one of the first projects to be constructed in this new facility. We'll have additional modelling bays that will enable us to produce and manage more 3D models for longer periods, and what's currently available in the Australian market at present. And we look forward to when that facility is finally completed. And this program will ensure that our dams continue to function safely, hold and pass excess volumes of water during extreme weather events, and provide long-term water security to the people of Queensland. The BFD project is the next project in this program. We have up to another 6 DIP projects to be completed in our pipeline. The Alliance is the centrepiece of the procurement process for the BFD project, but there are several other packages of work that we'll talk about today, which will ensure that we will deliver this project successfully. And some of those early procurement packages are the transaction advisory and the detailed design package. So why collaborative contracting model such as an alliance? We're pursuing a contract model that allows us to mobilise the best relevant contemporary technical knowledge, capability and people to join Sunwater to collectively engineer and deliver the project objectives and benefits at an acceptable risk profile at a reasonable cost. We're looking for partners who have a shared common purpose with a genuine and authentic commitment to safely deliver the project to the required quality standards. We're looking for partners who we can trust. Partners who can bring the leadership and the people to build high-performing teams with a demonstrated contemporary global experience in engineering and delivery of large-scale dam projects, who understand project risks associated with elements of work such as dam construction and design. These include working on active spillways, in-river works, geotechnical conditions, temporary works, logistics, quarry material, supply risks. Partners who understand the local context and necessary approvals and process of developing a project of this scale and complexity. Partners who understand why we're augmenting an asset on an operating brownfield site, that our assets are long life assets, and a team that understands the Sunwater operating environment. Organisations with a strong sense of corporate and social responsibility, teams that are simple to deal with, and partners who have a demonstrated commitment to reach commercial agreements that respects the need for these projects to be delivered in a value for money framework. Organisations that are willing to join with Sunwater to complement Simon's team. I would like to thank everyone for their interest in the project, and your interest is reflected by your attendance here today and the time that you might spend if you're offshore viewing this video. I look forward to everyone's participation in the various procurement packages and processes. I'll now pass over to Simon to provide an overview of the project scope, and I look forward to any questions at the end. Thanks.
Thank you, Mal. Thank you, Cameron. Welcome, everybody, and good morning. For those who don't know me, my name is Simon Thomas. I'm the project director for the project and hold the responsibility for delivering this project safely, on time and on budget. It's great to see so many faces here I've worked with in the past. For the last 15 years, while I've been in Australia, I've predominantly worked on railway and road infrastructure projects. But 18 months ago, I had a conversation with Mal and the Chief Executive Officer, Glenn, about coming to work on a dam project. And I think any civil engineer in the room, the dam project is the ultimate project to work on. If you like concrete, you like earthworks, you're going to love this project. It's simple as that. It's such a challenge. Building this thing, and I'm going to go through the challenges, the risks and the opportunities that I want people to think about before they come and tender this project. You know, we're looking for the best people to build this who can overcome challenges. I'm going to go through the scope in a bit of detail for you. and give you a sort of overview of the packages that are coming forward. And then Steve will talk about timing and a bit more detail around the packaging when Steve comes up. I've got a little flyover video here that we put together, which gives you a sort of dynamic of the site itself. We've got Lake Dalrymple, as you can see there, and the dam and the saddle dams and the quarry area. So I'll just run this through for you to get a feeling of the sort of size of the site. As we fly over, we're just going to fly over the dam, and we're heading up to the Mount Graham saddle dams. These saddle dams are quite unique in construction. The Mount Graham Saddle Dam, in effect, is over 3 kilometers long at the moment, and we're just flying over that. And the aim is to have all our materials close by to this site. So the site logistics, as you can see there, of how we're going to move earth-moving equipment around and supply the batching plants and everything. There you can see the quarry on the right-hand side, and I'll talk to you more about the quarry. The left saddle bank. And we've got a new right bank saddle dam to construct as well. You can just see it coming through here as we fly in. As you can see, the terrain is quite rough as well. And then we come over to the Burdekin Dam itself, where we actually increase the height of the spillway and the abutments. So the site itself is quite large. It's got a large footprint, and the challenge around logistics and making sure everybody's efficient working in this area will be key. Okay, let's talk about the existing dam. We saw some great footage. Hopefully you were watching the dam itself as we walked in, and you saw it spilling and the ferocity of the water coming over that dam. But the dam itself was constructed in 1987 by Leighton Contractors, and they actually won an award for the constructability of the dam. There's actually nothing wrong with the dam. It's very well constructed. The structure itself is mass concrete. It's 504 meters long. That doesn't include the abutments. So you can imagine the length of it overall is just short of 800 meters when you include the abutments. And then there's also earth saddle dams saddling Lake Dalrymple. The capacity, Mal talked about 4 times the size of the Sydney Harbour, 1.86 million megalitres of water. What is extraordinary is the size of the catchment. The catchment is approximately 7% the size of Queensland. And when it does rain in that area, it does rain, and the water that comes into that dam is phenomenal. It's going to be very, very hard to lower that dam level, virtually impossible. So where we've, in the world where you see dam construction at the moment, they have the ability to lower the dam. We haven't really got that ability to lower it by the amount of water that enters. So that's another challenge I'm going to talk about. And there has some previous work been done on the dam as well. Like we talk about, there's some foundation and drainage design that's been worked on over the years. Where is the Burdekin Falls Dam? Here's another challenge. It's about 2.5, 3 hours drive out of Townsville, and you get to you go along the Flinders Highway and you hook a left to a little small gold mine in town called Ravenswood. That's 80 kilometers from the dam, and from Ravenswood down to the dam, it's just a small road that is bitumened. We've done some traffic counts on it. There's between 10 and 15 cars a day go down there, mostly to the dam, and the grey nomads that go to the campsite at the dam as well. You can see the catchment size there. That's the shaded area of the map. It's actually huge. So the challenge straight away is the remote location. And for those people who've been up in that area, the temperature of North Queensland and the humidity is another effect. And for all the people who like the concrete, like I talked about, there's the challenge again about concrete in humid, hot conditions. Couple of pictures of the dam itself. There's the spillway, 35 meters high and 504 meters long. The plan shows your spillway and the existing saddle dams, and then the Burdekin River running downstream there, and the positions of the saddle dam. So, just going back to the size of the site as well. On the site, there is an existing campground. where we do have the grey nomads. That campground will have to be closed for periods of time, obviously because of safety. And the leisure facilities on the lake will have to be closed as well because of safety while we're building this project. But we do intend to leave a legacy and improve that recreational area post-dam construction to leave that legacy for people to enjoy the dam going forward. Let's have a talk about the project in a bit more detail. There's two aspects to the project. What happened back in 2021, the government asked Sunwater to prepare a business statement on 3 scenarios. Scenario 1, to bring the dam to the existing required safety standards. A dam improvement project, a DIP is the acronym. The second option was to raise the dam in conjunction with the DIP to increase capacity behind the dam and raise it to 2 meters. And then option 3 was, is there an option to raise it up to 6 meters as well? We engaged Stantec, our engineering company, and RPS and another set of consultants to put together a business case which was submitted a few years ago to the government. Subsequently to that, the government made a decision and gave Sunwater a clear instruction to proceed with enabling works and construction readiness and environmental approvals and design on a 2-meter raise. The 2-meter raise is made up of the dam improvement project, as I said, which strengthens the dam, and that's done by buttressing of the dam, by thickening the spillway and raising the spillway. So we have the opportunity now to deliver those 2 projects simultaneously. The proposed works, raising and widening the saddle dams around the Dalrymple Lake and the introduction of a new saddle dam as well. And I'll go in the next couple of slides about the scope involved in raising those saddle dams. That's a big earthworks project using local materials. The other one is a new right saddlebang, as I talked about, and then the raising of the spillway by 2 meters. And what that raising of the spillway does, that increases obviously the capacity of water behind the dam. The new dam capacity goes up to 2.4 million megalitres as well, and gives Sunwater an additional capacity of 150,000 megalitres. It will remain Queensland's largest dam. Let's talk about the buttressing, raising of the spillway, and the abutments in a little bit more detail. Here's a couple of cross-sectional diagrams. The green shading is the new scope, and the white shading is the thickening and raising of both the spillway and the abutments. What's challenging here, obviously, is the placement of the concrete to get that profile, and placement of that concrete while dam spills as well. And I'll go in a little bit more detail about that challenge in later slides. You can see there through the cross-section, you got the upper and lower galleries, inspection galleries. But on that right, on the left abutment there, which is the drawing on the right, we've got some existing mechanical infrastructure which is critical to the operation of this dam. We've got the spillway gates in themselves, the sluice gates. We've got mechanical and electrical equipment in that area. We've got overhead gantry cranes. So all that needs to be operational and functional while we raise this spillway, and we raise the abutments around 8 meters. So in itself, there is a big challenge there. You know, we must keep this dam operational while we're doing this work. Here's a couple of drawings on the Mount Graham saddle dam. So the picture on your left is the existing saddle dam. And this existing saddle dam is constructed with a clay core with stone riprap either side and traditional earthworks as well, fill. We've got to raise this saddle dam. The orange profile there, as you can see it being raised. You know, the combination length of these saddle dams is 4.7 kilometers. So this is a big task in itself. Okay, there's approximately 2 to 3 million cubic meters of material. The design of this core of this saddle dam is very important, and our concept is looking at a clay core. So we're out on site at the moment doing geotechnical investigation to find local source materials to build this. And I'll talk about the quarry in a little bit more detail in the coming slides. Okay, our license to build. This is a prerequisite of the government. It's a trigger, it's a hold point, call it what you want. It's a final investment decision trigger point, which is the environmental impact statement and the approval of that. Sunwater and our consultant SLR have worked tirelessly over the last 2 years to prepare an EIS document which is robust and addresses all the requirements of the Queensland Government, the Coordinator General's Office. I'm proud to say we're about to submit that EIS in the coming months to the Coordinator General. And the timing on that I'll go through, but basically you have then a 10 to 12 month consultation review period of that EIS. And the EIS just doesn't look at environmental impacts, it looks at social and economic benefits and impacts of the project as well. Very exciting to get that document in and get it worked with the Coordinator General to get approval. As I said, it's a trigger point for us. Planning for construction. And there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes at the moment. We're going to be undertaking a series of packages enabling works over the next 18 months and focusing on the long lead items. The accommodation village in particular, the lead-in time for that. And we're not calling it a camp anymore or a workers' camp. Here at Sunwater, we want to give the workforce an extremely pleasant place to live when you're outside of work. You're going to be working 3 hours from Townsville. You're going to be working in the heat of Queensland. We want to make sure we have a workers' camp. Cross that out. What we want is an accommodation village, or a Burdekin Hilton, I'd like to call it. There's a lot of focus on that at the moment, and our construction director, Tan, is really looking into what's available and long lead items to procure a fantastic place for people to live and work while we're on site. We've got 80 kilometres of potential road to upgrade from Ravenswood. Picture of up on the top right there. To get construction traffic to bring the big vehicles down to the dam, to deliver materials, to deliver cement, to deliver things, and construction traffic, we're going to look at upgrading that road. There is a huge risk on that road of fauna and flora at the moment. We've got cows, we've got bulls, we've got everything running across that road. It's not fenced, and we've got landowners who've got animals that just wander through there. Obviously, at the moment, with 10 cars a day, it's not an issue. But when I've got 100 trucks a day going down there, it is an issue. So we've got to really look at that road in particular with regards to safety. We need new water and sewage treatment plants for the workforce, for the 350 to 400 workforce. So that's a long lead item. We need to design and procure water and sewage treatment plants that can be both modular, that we can take away once the village is removed. Communications is a big thing. At the moment, if you go out to the dam, you won't get communication past Ravenswood until you get to our offices at the dam. So we're working and looking at a study at the moment with our IT teams and our telecoms teams to ensure that we can put together a package that gives us communication out there. So there's a lot of planning and early involvement of work that we need to do to get construction ready in the next 18 months. We have an existing landing strip that Leighton's used back in the day to bring dignitaries into the project and to use in the event of a safety event that we have to take somebody out. We're looking at a study at the moment to whether we upgrade that. So we got potential to have fly-in, fly-out workers directly from Townsville into the site itself, and that's a study that we're undertaking at the moment, and the value of doing that. The key risks and opportunities. This is the bit that I want people who are bidding for this job to understand. The EIS conditions, after 12 months of consultation, after 12 months of review by government bodies and other people, we may have some conditions there which will be a challenge. Material locally. The good thing about material locally is we have a quarry on site that was used. And we're in that quarry at the moment, percussion drilling and testing that material. I call that the heartbeat of the project, the quarry, because it'll be servicing the dam construction, it'll be servicing the saddle dam construction. It's a fundamental piece of the puzzle to construct this project. Probably the hard one is the weather conditions. Since the dam has been built, this dam has spilt approximately 30% of the time. And for those who have been there when you see this thing spilling, and the amount of water and the force of nature that comes over this dam is phenomenal. So we've got to build this thing while it's spilling. I'll just leave you with that thought. We've got a couple of, we at Sunwater are lucky to have a couple of technical experts who've built dams around the world who are looking at this for us at the moment and coming up with temporary work solutions that allows us to work safely while the dam is spilling on certain parts of the dam. So that's a real tight one. And the temperatures I spoke to before, the curing of mass concrete. You know, we're talking over 200,000 cubic meters of concrete that we've got to cast in place. Large aggregate concrete. The thermal dynamics of placing that and the constructability. We're looking for people who've done that before, who can give us a strong proposal and say, I've done that, I can place that concrete. You know, it's a lot of things around that. The scheduling of the project. Obviously, we can't top out the spillway until we've built and concluded the saddle dams. So scheduling around this project is a key as well. And remote location, as obviously we're looking for people who know how to work in remote locations. What's going on site? There's a lot of data collection for the designer. We're doing intensive geotechnical testing. We're doing intensive core drilling into the dam to take some large concrete cores out of the dam to understand the characteristics of the concrete, which is all information the designers need. There's a couple of the quantities there, as you can see. Great picture of that heart, I call it, the heart of the project, your quarry on the right-hand side. You can see the big chunk that Laytons have chewed into that area there. So it's going to be a bigger chunk taken out of it as well. So we're looking for somebody who can manage that, who's done this before, who can produce materials for the site, who can use the logistics and the key knowledge of moving that material around. We're working I'd just like to say with the cultural heritage and ecology field studies, we're working really, really well with the traditional landowners, Birra and Janga. We've done very specific cultural heritage clearance for the geotech work that we've done at the moment. And really, for me, for the understanding of the cultural heritage around this site, you know, it's very, very important. And we're going to have a big focus to educate people who are going to be working on this site around the cultural significance of the water and the water values for the Burdekin region. A little bit about timing. So in the next couple of months, we'll be submitting the environmental impact statement. We're expecting a 12-month turnaround on that, which is basically, as I said, our license to build and trigger for final investment approval. What's great about this project, the government has already committed in their budget 540 million towards this project. So that's a significant amount of money ready to go for Sunwater to invest and get this project started. We have a raft of secondary approvals that we're working on at the moment. Don't underestimate the amount of secondary approvals with local governments, councils, etc., that we need to have in place. Once the EIS is completed, the government will, we believe, will do a refresh of the business case. And part of that refresh is a refresh of the estimate. So we'll be looking for, over the coming years, for that contractor who comes in, and I'll talk a little bit more about the delivery model later, around getting a good firm target outturn cost, an EIS, all the documentation we need to present to the government to get the nod to move into full turn construction. The alliance development, the detailed design and enabling activities. We're moving into that procurement phase. Shortly after these presentations in the coming weeks, we'll be releasing the transaction manager package. I'll be looking for a transaction manager to help us with the procurement of all the packages going forward. In the new year, we'll be releasing the detailed design tender package into the market, a substantial detail package that'll be out there. We've also got the road design packages to undertake, plus the smaller packages, which Steve will talk about in more detail. Detailed design will run next year and into 2025. And in parallel to that, we'll be looking at the alliance, choosing our alliance partner, and then moving into that target outturn cost phase of preparing a costing for the project. It's a very exciting project. We've got a good plan. We've made a lot of effort to put a plan together that transitions from a design into a construction phase. We're spending a lot of time with data collection. The amount of geotech that we're doing and enabling works will give the engineers sound foundation to start their design. We're at this moment in time, we have a concept design which is between 3 and 5%. We need to move forward to at least 50 to 60% complete before that contractor can really price that job. We want to make sure that the engineering company that we choose has got the experience, has got our facility at the Rockley lab that Mal showed, so we can do the hydraulic modeling, and we can give them as much of the existing data of the dam, its function, and how it's performing at the moment, together with that geotechnical information. If we can do that and plan it well, we'll get a sound outcome, we'll get a good bid off the alliance out of the alliance partner, and we can move forward with a good plan to construct this. It's going to be an exciting 5 years. Can't wait to be on that journey, and I can't wait for people like yourselves to come and put a bid in, to come and be part of this project. How exciting is it? I'll just pause there and hand over to Steve to talk about those packages in a little more detail.
Thank you, Simon. Good morning, everyone. My name is Stephen Garrick, and I'm the General Manager of Procurement at Sunwater. I'm delighted to welcome you all here to today's briefing to share with you some of the terrific opportunities for industry and Queensland business to contribute to the success of the Burdekin Falls Dam Improvement Project. Over the next few slides, I'll provide you with an overview of how we procure at Sunwater, an indicative timeline and overview of upcoming procurement initiatives, and what you can do to stay up to date as we progress with our plan. Sunwater, as a GOC, is committed to the Buy Queensland philosophy. The Queensland Procurement Policy is an overarching policy document that guides and informs our own corporate procurement framework on how we procure at Sunwater. The QPP outlines 6 guiding principles that are applied to each and every procurement initiative we undertake. The principles achieve value for money, apply a responsible public procurement approach, behave ethically and embed integrity, probity and accountability, as well as be leaders in procurement practice, collaborate for more effective outcomes, and support strong governance and planning are central to how we procure at Sunwater. I would also like to reinforce that we are not just looking to partner with large Tier 1 organisations. We see this program as a great opportunity to engage with Queensland business, either directly or indirectly through subcontract arrangements. That is why, for all procurement initiatives that we undertake, there will be a specific evaluation metric on local content and benefits. And given the scale and value of the project, the Queensland best practice principles will apply. They'll apply to the main construction works and, where applicable, other related contracts. The best practice principles provide for 3 key areas: workplace health and safety systems and standards, a focus and commitment on apprentices and trainees, and the best practice industrial relations, also referred to as BPIC. We are also passionate about social procurement and the benefit it brings to our communities, our projects, and our organisation. We want to engage with social enterprises where we can, which may include Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander-owned business, women-owned business, and organisations representing or employing people with disabilities. And lastly, there are Commonwealth requirements that apply to this project. The Burdekin Falls Dam project is classified as a major project within the federal framework, which means we must demonstrate compliance with the Australian Jobs Act and the Australian Industry Participation National Framework. As you can see on the slides above, the Burdekin Falls Dam project consists of several key procurement packages that will be delivered in support of alliance formation and the commencement of works. These key packages are transaction management services, detailed designer, enabling works, the minor works support packages, and the construction non-owner participant procurement initiative. In a moment, I'll walk you through each of these and share at a high level the characteristics of each. But before I do, I'd like to call out today's to provide you with a high-level overview, and there will be further package-specific briefings in the time ahead. One of the first packages to be released to market will be the transaction management services. Sunwater is looking to partner with an experienced transaction management consultant to assist in the development and market-facing execution of a number of key packages. We are looking to partner with an organisation with well-established processes and a track record of delivering complex infrastructure initiatives. We are looking for depth in expertise across several disciplines and a partner who can scale to support Sunwater as a procurement shifts from phase to phase. The transaction manager will lead key workflows, including RFO preparation, facilitation of interactive workshops and tender evaluations, and manage stakeholder engagement activities and approval processes with Sunwater. The transaction manager will also provide expertise and support the project and procurement teams by planning and market-facing execution work of the detailed design consultant and the construction non-owner participant procurement initiatives. The transaction manager will also support throughout the alliance development and alliance formation phases in consultation with Sunwater. The procurement of the transaction manager will follow a two-phase process. Phase 1, being the EOI, will be released via ICN Gateway. The EOI will be non-priced with a focus on culture, experience, capability and depth. Phase 2 is the RFO. The RFO will be released via the Queensland Government Q-Tenders portal. This platform, this will be a priced, competitive tender process. I'll now invite Simon back to the lectern to discuss the design partner and alliance formation.
Thanks, Steve. Obviously, Steve's called me back up because it was my team's idea to this delivery model, so if it's wrong, it's my fault. But anyway, no, but on a serious note, we're looking for a design partner that we're going to take forward to execute our front-end engineering design. We've had a lot of debate about the maturity of that whole point, of how far they take it. It's still up for debate, but at this stage, we're anticipating between 50 and 60% design maturity. And that detailed designer will work under a contract arrangement with Sunwater Direct and a consultancy agreement. We've worked very hard on the terms and conditions and that commercial model. And as Steve said, there will be a separate market sounding with the engineering companies to go through our proposed commercial model. Once the maturity of the design reaches our whole point, which is 50 or 60%, the design will actually stop then, and that documentation will be given to two of our preferred alliance constructors, where the target outturn cost exercise will begin. Our engineering company will sit in the wings and they will answer all the relevant technical questions that will be answered during that phase. Once we have chosen our alliance partner, that's when the engineering company will transition as a non-owner participant into the formation of that alliance. So to make it very clear to all the contractors in the room, you will know who your engineering partner will be well in advance. Slightly different to the standard Department of Main Roads alliance framework where the contractor turns up with his engineering partner. We will have already chosen that engineering partner. So we'll be choosing an engineering partner, not only its technical ability, but its ability to work in an alliance environment. Okay, that's very important. We'll be looking for people who worked in an alliance environment. So when things go wrong or when there's an issue in that alliance, we're all in it together. There's no blame or pointing. We're all in it to solve the problem technically. We see that engineering design taking to get to 50-60% between that 12 to 16 month mark. We will let the engineering companies, when they put the bid together, to look at that in more detail, but that's our sort of timing at this stage for that. The delivery model, like we spoke about, is an alliance form of contract that we go into. Sunwater is the owner, the constructor, and our designer. But there is a level below that. The work breakdown structure, as I've talked about, the job is split into two. Split into the saddle dams where you need that earthworks geotechnical experience, the earth moving experience, that geotechnical design. You're designing an embankment. And then you've got your dam raising and your buttressing, which is your structural element of the job. So it will be split down further so that we can clearly understand the alliance and the designer's capability for each package of work. Okay? And we will be calling out. It's not a case of we're very good at building dams, we don't know much about earthworks construction, but hey, we can do dams. We'll be looking at your overall capability to do those two work breakdown packages. So remember that. Come with the right partner, come with the right people that you can execute all parts of this job. It's very important to us. The formation of that alliance, once done, will take the engineering design from 60% or whatever the whole point will be to IFC drawings and construction. In parallel, that final 40% may take up to another 12 months. But in parallel, there's a lot of work that the alliance can do on site. We can start opening that quarry up. We can set the batching plants up. We can start the trial mixes. We can start processing the material. So there will be work going on when we go from 60 to 100%. Very important to remember that. And whether that packages of work will be coming under the alliance or it's an early works package to the alliance partner, we're still to decide that sort of delivery model. But definitely there will be parallel working while that 60 to 100% design is done. The alliance formation process, as I talked about, we'll do a market sounding, followed by a non-price tender submission, a non-price criteria. We will then choose two contractors or contract parties for what's formed in the market. As I talked about, the Sunwater consultancy agreement for the designer, that will have an incentive target cost model up to 60% as well. And that's what we'll discuss in more detail at the market sounding. The shortlisted tender, we're looking at that proposal on methodology. We'll be looking at methodology in particular. Okay, how can you build this job while it spills? It is a fundamental question and an engineering question that needs to be answered and give us a warm, fuzzy feeling before we award. We need people with that alliance experience, okay, to agree that. And we're looking for the technical expertise in those CVs. People who've done this before, worked on dam projects, who've delivered mass concrete in these conditions before. All those factors are very important for us to choose the right construction partner. I'll just hand over to Steve again, and he'll go through the enabling works packages one by one. Thanks.
Thank you, Simon. We have some really exciting enabling work packages planned for release in the year ahead. These packages are all about getting us ready for project execution following EIS approval. We are looking to engage with design consultants to design the road upgrades in several areas along Burdekin Falls Dam Road. This design will focus on safety, efficiency, resilience, and legacy. The section of the Burdekin Falls Dam Road north of the Burdekin River is a state-controlled road located within the Charters Towers local government area. The section of the Burdekin Falls Dam Road to the south, which eventually joins Glendon Road, is within the Whitsundays local government area. All projects of this nature require somewhere the hard-working men and women engaged in this project can call a home away from home, and we want ours to be class-leading. We will be constructing a 350-person accommodation village for the duration of the construction works. We are looking for innovation, contemporary design, and class-leading facilities. We would like our village to be a village of choice for remote workers in Queensland. There is an existing airstrip in the broader footprint of the Burdekin Falls Dam. The airstrip was constructed in the early 1980s as part of the original construction, but has not been operational for many years. The runway is 1,080 metres in length with a small taxiway and apron suitable for an 8 to 10-seater aircraft. The feasibility assessment of the airstrip will commence with a survey and remediation options development. Design and scoping of upgrade works required to reinstate the airstrip to the federal compliance standards will follow the feasibility assessment. The age of the existing infrastructure, the layout of the project site, and the sheer number of people engaged in this project means the existing water treatment plant and sewage plants require replacement. The new plant will likely be modular in design with multiple parallel treatment trains, some of which will be decommissioned following construction. The existing communications infrastructure will not support the needs of the project. We are looking for contractors to supply microwave connection to the camp from the Collinsville Communications Centre and terminating within existing on-site infrastructure. Upgrades to the telecommunications infrastructure will be provided by the relevant telecommunications supplier, and all construction activity and associated approvals will be the responsibility of the supplier. Various other packages of works are also required to either support the ongoing investigation, approvals, or site preparedness works. Geotechnical investigation work involves digging and drilling boreholes around the Saddle Dam, as well as further material source investigations. Burdekin Falls Dam Road upgrade works are the physical civil construction works between the Flinders Highway and the dam site. These works will be undertaken in consultation with Sunwater and TMR and will potentially use the TMR Transport Infrastructure Contract Framework. Site clearance works involves targeted vegetation clearance to facilitate geotechnical investigations and pre-construction activities. Early stages of the material sampling and testing requirements has commenced, with a potential need for further laboratory testing and analysis from geotechnical works. And of course, ecology surveys, environmental monitoring, and offset approvals are fundamental to the project's success. If you haven't previously worked with Sunwater, you may be asking, what do you look for in the tender submission? We are looking for demonstrated capability and experience within your area of expertise, experience working within a collaborative delivery model, and an alliance experience, remote work experience, proven experience working with social enterprises, demonstrable experience in engaging with and working with the communities in the areas in which your projects are, organisations with a focus on safety, quality, and environmental performance, a demonstrated understanding and expertise within the Queensland best practice principles and ethical supply requirements. And importantly, we're looking for a great culture and a shared belief in what we are doing. Throughout the presentation, I've referred to either a single phase or two-phase procurement approach. The single phase request for offer process will be used for relatively straightforward procurement packages. They will be released exclusively by the Queensland Government's Q-Tenders website. Each package will outline our requirements, which are linked to mandatory and comparative evaluation criteria. Each RFO will be undertaken in compliance with the QPP, and where appropriate, a probity advisor will be appointed. Following RFO close, a structured evaluation, negotiation, and approval process will occur. The two-phase expression of interest and RFO process will be reserved for the more complex procurement initiatives, or where Sunwater seeks to gain market insights prior to commencing a competitive process. Current planning indicates this will be for the Transaction Management Services contract, detailed designer, road upgrade construction works, and the Alliance Construction non-owner participant. Each EOI will be released exclusively via ICN Gateway, with an alert being released on Q-Tenders notifying you that this has occurred. EOIs are typically non-priced, however we may seek indicative rates to assist with our modelling or forecast projections. Aside from the technical response, the EOI will assist someone to understand organisational culture, expertise, capacity and experience. As with the single phase process, the RFO component will be released exclusively on the Queensland Government Q-Tenders portal and will follow the process and considerations I set out earlier. Some of the key evaluation criteria that we look for to assess are financial capacity and suitability, health, safety and environmental pre-qualification assessments, ethical supplier mandate and threshold, as well as the Queensland Supplier Code of Conduct and other mandatory requirements. So how can you stay up to date as we progress with our procurement strategy? First and foremost, I would encourage you all to register with ICN Gateway. This is where all of the EOI packages will be released and also provides a general landing page where your organisation can register a general expression of interest. Sunwater is also a proud corporate member of Supply Nation and will be utilising Supply Nation in addition to our ongoing engagement with traditional owner groups. We're delighted to have representatives from each organisation here with us today who have been good enough to share their time and answer any questions that you may have. And of course, Q-Tenders. This is the space where all of the RFOs will be released. So take an opportunity and review and update your company and organisation details and ensure they're up to date with an automated search alert for Sunwater. And before I hand over to Rory from O'Connor Marsden for the probity briefing, we have established a dedicated procurement inbox within our project's external website. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everybody. I think as Mal alluded to earlier on, this is probably going to be the highlight of the presentation. And indeed, for many of you, it's probably been the highlight of the week, so we're probably not to disappoint. So, probably, OCM are on board as the external probity advisor. You've heard already about the values commitment that Sunwater makes to its processes and the way that it operates the market. So probity-wise, we've been brought on board to assist in that regard. Many of you, looking around, I do see a lot of familiar faces, but many of you would have worked and seen OCM in action before, and you know that if anybody does have any probity issues at all, you can always reach out and talk to us offline, and we're happy to address those matters. Few quick point outs though in terms of probity, selfishly to make my life easier. The first point to make is that I'm mindful that a lot of people in the room will have very long and extended Christmas card lists. So there'll be lots of context that you would have within Sunwater. Can you please, as Steve has alluded to, let's stay on reservation and make sure that we stay to the single point of contact. That means everybody's getting the same information, getting it in a consistent manner, and so appreciate if you could all do that. As the various procurement are released to market, it'll be important too that when you're involved in it to be and keep those processes confidential. And again, thanking everybody in advance for that. So this will be probably a very short probity presentation, but if anybody does have any questions at all, always happy to take those offline, and I'll be around too at the end of this session to take any questions. With that, it's back to Cameron. Thank you.
Look, thank you very much. What I might do is now invite our speakers back up to the stage, and we'll have the opportunity to ask any particular or pertinent questions that have arisen for you today, noting that there obviously will be more in-detail briefings as specific packages are released to the market. So you will have opportunities on specific packages to engage and seek any additional information that you need. To get underway, can I just ask if you do have a question that you raise your hand. We've got some runners through the room who will come to you with a microphone. If you could please state your name and the organisation that you're from, preceding your question, that would be appreciated. Any questions? Yep.
Hi, it's Matthew Boyer. I work for Protest Engineering, which is a specialist local geotech company based in central Queensland. My question is about for Stephen Carrick. It's about the relationship between the EOI and the RFO market announcement. As I understand it, the EOI is designed to assess market capability and understand who's teaming up. How do you, when you go to Q tenders and you go to market for an RFO, do you actually, is that an open tender, or do you actually nominate that selectively to candidates based on the initial EOI submissions?
We will typically use the EOI process to help inform that list of proponents that we'll invite to the RFO. We will go out to the open market, both in the state base but also nationally, as part of our commitment to doing so. We will use the data and insights from the EOI in most instances to select a group of proponents who met our needs within that EOI and performed well.
Okay, so there's another question just here. Same question? Okay. Yep, sorry, just... So just hold for the microphone, please.
Samantha Watt Jacobs. Just wanted to know if you'll be providing a package of the slides after the presentation? Yes, we will.
There'll be a video available to record the session, and the slides will be available as well. Yep.
Craig Porter, Bilby Holdings. Somewhat of an awkward question, but I'm going to ask it. Any consideration in relation to the development project, should there be a result from the yes and no vote in the middle of October?
No.
That's a no?
There's no consideration for the project on the outcome of a referendum that's going on. It won't impact the project or the planning that we're undertaking.
Shane McDowell from Sync Advisory. Just with respect to the transaction advisor role, would they have involvement in those enabling work and support projects? Would it be a lead role, a support role, or no role at all?
Thanks, Shane. The answer is yes. We require procurement horsepower to assist the project, and we would see the transaction manager getting stuck in and involved in the procurement and assisting us with the detailed design tender. That'll be the first one straight after Christmas. And all the other relevant packages where we need assistance. So it's not just forming an alliance and choosing the best alliances. It's for the majority of the packages of work.
Any additional input?
Hello, I'm Barney from Hatch. My question is for upcoming associated nearby project, Pioneer Burdekin Hydro project, which is coming up, pretty much having a common footprint with this project. Is there will be some kind of an overlap, whether it is design or the development of roads, camps, and other. Are they a stakeholder or future stakeholder of this project? And there will be some interaction, whether it is design development or of the main work or the associated work packages that you have just described?
Sorry, I missed the beginning of your question. Can you read?
Sorry, is it with regard to the hydro scheme? Is that what you're saying? That's right. Yeah, so this project is not part of the hydro scheme. This project scope is purely around raising the dam and raising the saddle dams and buttressing the project. So it's a dam safety improvement and raising project. The Burdekin Dam has, when it was designed, first of all, there is I wouldn't say facility, but there is an option there that it could be turned into a hydro scheme, but it's got nothing to do with this project.
Richard Cowley from Fulton Hogan. Some of the contractors might agree with me. My experience is 60% is too late to really capture value or constructability from the outset, in particular when you've got really complex projects and such as this with the spillway. Have you given some consideration to actually bringing the contractor on as the alliance partner earlier than 60% so the opportunity is not lost?
Look, we've thought long and hard about that, and we've spoken to clients overseas who are going through exactly the same type of project at the moment, in particular Denver Water. We spoke to them around the sweet number when you bring people in. There's pros and cons of it. If I go out to the market and ask Fulton Hogan or CPB or somebody to give us some technical expertise to work through constructability at 30% design, does that then exclude them from bidding the project? Yeah, I don't know. We believe, based on the technical considerations of this project, that the key critical ones are the design would not change much, we believe, regardless of constructability, because it's a mass concrete monolith construction. We've got to raise it 2 meters. The focus is going to be on the constructability, which is post 60%. But we haven't ruled out pulling the contractors in earlier. At this point in time and for today, we've chosen a 60% value.
So, Richard, I'll just add to that. I mean, dam engineering is sort of slightly different in that we need to go through a whole heap of technical review and sign off to make sure that the structures that we're constructing to appropriate standard. Sunwater, over the last 3 years, has been building our own internal capability, and we have got a reasonably strong team that has come from a lot of tier 1, tier 2 contractors. So as Simon said, shape and geometry and all of those things around the dam, a constructor is necessarily not going to be a strong contributor to that. Where the constructor will be a contributor will be around all of the temporary works and the construction methodology. So it is that kind of question around when is the right time to bring people in. So, and as you know, Simon said, we will kind of work through that. We've also got KCB on board as well, which has got some really good DNA in this space as well. So whilst we say 60%, I guess that's trying to signal to the market where the upper limit of all of this is. But the benefit of actually going through the process that we're going through is a little bit. We can be a little bit agile around our our approach.
Hi there, Chris Irvin Brown from Binnie's Australia. Just a question around the enabling works. There was a few packages there. Will these all be released individually, or would there be a chance to package them up together, or are you just thinking individual contracts for each of the enabling works?
At this stage, it's individually, because the scopes are quite, we could potentially go to a D&C for the road upgrade package, and we just do a concept design. That may change, but the procurement of the camp, the water and sewage treatment plant, telecoms, they're all individual types of scopes, so they wouldn't be packaged up. The only thing I would see that the alliance partner would do as an enabling works package would be the quarry and the batching plant. Yeah.
Any further questions? That's the spirit.
Andrew Chapman from Queensland Major Contractors Association. Guys, plenty of stuff about the enabling works. How's the power situation at the site? Do you need power?
Yes, we do need power. We're currently doing a power assessment as we speak, looking at the power requirements. We believe there is enough power there. What we have got to do, though, is divert the power lines. So we're working with the Statutory Authority at the moment to divert. But yeah, we're pretty close to the power lines, and we strongly believe we've got enough.
Any final questions? If not, I'd just ask you to thank our speakers for coming today. So look, I think as we've mentioned and hopefully given you some visibility and insight, this is a large and complex project. I think, however, in some of that complexity, we'll find the opportunity to do some of our best work. So we look forward to being able to partner with your organisations, and that's a very genuine comment about partnership. It will be required to form a good and strong working bond between Sunwater and those partners that we bring on to deliver this project. Thank you very much for your time today. As has been mentioned, Q tenders and the ICN gateway will be key information sources for you. We've been fortunate enough to be joined today by Jayton from ICN. There are QR codes out on the sign-in tables as you come in. Can I please ask that you update your organisation's details on both Q tenders and the ICN gateway? Please make sure that you visit Sunwater's website to have additional information. And as has been mentioned, please make sure we're using the single point of contact. With that said, thank you very much for your interest and attendance today, and we look forward to working with you soon. Thank you.